Hi, I'm Nancy with Stony Creek Yarn, and you're watching a very special edition of Along Stony Creek, my fibery podcast where I talk about knitting, sewing, crocheting, and dyeing yarn. Welcome. Hi, and welcome to Along Stony Creek, my future knitting plans. Late summer 2023. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about what I plan to knit for the rest of 2023. Now, I'm going to do an update on my dyeing first. And before I forget, here's your contest winner. I have a comment contest every single month. What is a comment contest, you ask? A comment contest is a contest where you leave a comment on a video placed up in that month. For instance, this is July of 2023. So when I put this video up in July, you make a comment on this video or any video put up in July of 2023. And in August, on the 3rd of August, I will draw a winner from among all of the comments. And last month's winner was Maria Villegas, 4218. You pick up your prize by contacting me. I will only let you know on the podcast. I will never contact you directly. You have to come back here and see if you won. I put it right at the beginning. And then email me at nancy@stonycreekyarn.com. That's Nancy at STONY, no E, creekyarn.com. And it, of course, will be in the More bar. And this month's contest prize is a skein of Colorophobia. It is 75% merino, 25% nylon, 2-ply yarn, 463 yards. I actually said that properly. And it's called Colorophobia because it's bright and colorful. And it reminds me of my cousin Bobby, who's a clown, and I have colorophobia. I'm afraid of clowns. So leave a comment and you could be a winner. And if you can receive a prize from the United States, receive a package from the United States, I will send it to you. Now, if there's any weird taxes or anything, I can't be responsible for those. But if you can receive a package from me, I'm happy to send it. So leave a comment and let's win a prize. We're back. Did you win? If so, tell me in the comments. If not, you can leave a comment and be entered to win this next August 3rd, which is coming up real quick now. And this video will be out before August 3rd, I promise. So before we get into the what is Nancy gonna knit, and I have my Ravelry queue right here, because knitting my queue is my new goal in life. Let's do a little catch up on where I stand with my knitting. I'm only going to talk about 2 objects today. One is my ranunculus. If you watched my podcast, which came out right before this, I had just started this. I filmed that on Tuesday. It is now Friday, and I hadn't gotten around to editing it yet. I'm going to do that this morning and put it up. But I am done. Dun, 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 dun. I am done with the yoke, and I have separated for sleeves, and I am zooming down the body. And when I say zooming down the body, I am zooming down. I am doing these in size 10.5 needles because that is the drape that I wanted for this. I want this to go over turtlenecks this fall and winter. And yes, I know I have a lot of this yarn. I knit a sweater. I dyed like 7 skeins of it initially for the sweater. And then, of course, I brought all the skeins in the house because I'm a doofus. And when I brought all the skeins in the house, cat hair, attached like cat hair does. So I have to keep them because I do have customers that have pet allergies. And that's why I keep the dye studio with the yarn in there. And when the office is complete in a couple of weeks, I will have yarn in there, but it will be carried in plastic between the two and the cats will never enter. My name is Nancy. Did I forget to say that? Oh my goodness. My name is Nancy. I live north of Monroe, Michigan, in a small beach community right near Lake Erie. I can see it from my front porch along Stony Creek, which is actually spelled correctly here. I like to say that I'm 28 miles south of Detroit, 28 miles north of Toledo, and 28 miles southeast of my 2 adult children that live in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I live here with 2 of my other adult children, Gerald and Hearn, although Gerald is getting ready to move out. Gerald and Hearn both have autism spectrum disorder. My dog Zool, who is a golden doodle, my rats Pip, Pop, and Bear, and Pip scared me to death this morning. I couldn't find him. He was snoozing in a part of the cage I'd never seen him snooze in before. Snoozy day. It's a very muggy, snoozy kind of day around here. And my 2 cats, Kit, Kit, and Hope, who probably won't make an appearance because they are sound asleep on my bed right now. So I wanted a ranunculus, and this is number 5, and it's an embarrassing number of ranunculi. But I'm telling you, for lace on a sweater, a first lacy sweater, good construction techniques, good instructions, this is a great sweater. Plus, it's incredibly versatile. It's loose enough that if I do it in a light enough fabric, I can belt it. It'll be drapey. If I do it in a fabric like this, I can wear it underneath a turtleneck in the fall and winter. I'm going to do long sleeves. I was really concerned because I only had 3 skeins of this, and I was wondering, is that really enough to do the long sleeves? I don't like yarn chicken. I don't like it at all. I've played it, and I've sadly lost, and then had to pull back and end things early. But as I was going through my yarn to show you all the yarn I have dyed up for my projects for the remainder of the year, I found this, and it was dyed at the same time. So I know it is a very, very, very close match. I do, when I get close to switching balls, when I get within 10 rows of switching balls, I will start going back and forth with the yarn. But I don't bother to do that with the sleeves. The sleeves turn out different colors slightly. That's life. It hasn't happened yet. Knock wood. Oh, and I'm in a new location today. This is my living room. Over here we have my hula hoops, and behind me we have my map of Eleuthera that my parents picked up on their honeymoon in 1958, in January of 1958. That is a very old map. Anyway, I've been knitting along on my ranunculus. I'm on my second ball, cake, ball, whatever. I just started it. I'm pulling from the inside. It makes a much neater project, but then you get all this florgally flork hanging around. And right now it's in a small bag because it fits. It's the only reason it's in this tiny little bag. It just fits in this tiny little bag. And I can't remember, who is this little bag by? I had it written down, I thought. Can't remember where I got it. I'll have to look it up. But it's a really nice, convenient bag with a really nice, convenient handle. Yay, handles! Handles are my jam. So what else am I working on? Okay, I'm working on 2 things exclusively right now. One is that sweater. I'm knitting on that until I get sick of it, which takes about an hour. Then, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Twists and Turns by Stephen West. Oh, The Ranunculus by Midori Hiroshi. Can't believe I forgot that. My Twists and Turns by Stephen West, the pattern that Doofus here could not figure out. Yay! Thank you, Laura from Nitpicky and Hooked, my local yarn shop. She was looking at it, I was looking at it, I'm like, flipping pages. Let me see if I can show you the problem without showing you too much of the pattern. Okay, so yes, I can. So this page has the instructions for the previous sections I was working on. Down here is the picture of where I'm supposed to pick up. But on the next page, there's another picture of where you're supposed to pick up. I was doing the pickups on this page, not the correct page. The problem was all between the chair and the keyboard, meaning me. That is that's what we used to say when I worked help desk years and years and years ago, when we ran into a customer, a person calling for help with their computer who just turn it off and back on. How do I do that? That's a problem between the chair and the keyboard kind of a thing. So I have started on my sides and I am almost through. I'm just doing my next garter stitch section, and then I have a twisted rib section, and then I believe a garter stitch section, and then I read ahead, I think I put it on waste yarn, or I'll probably just leave this on and cap it off on either end, and then I do the other side, which hopefully won't be as confusing as this side. But my local knitting store is having a knit night next week, and I will be attending. That way, if I get completely lost, I can fix it. Hopefully, actually, the shawl will be done by next week. I am now at the point where, I want the shawl. I said it 100 times. If I have said it once, I want this shawl. I want this shawl. I want this shawl. I want this shawl. I want the stinking shawl. I think it is absolutely beautiful. And plus, there are 2 other shawls I really want to knit, and I cannot knit them. I can't even think about caking up the yarn until I have completed this project. This is the big one, this and the sweater. And the sweater, I really want the sweater done by Tuesday. It's now Friday. I think I've got lots of time to knit this weekend, so I think I will be doing a lot of knitting and probably rewatching some old television show, like maybe, I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Kind of feels like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer long weekend. You know what I mean? I've got to mow the yard. I've got to work on the garden a little bit. I've got chores to do. I've got groceries to buy. What am I going to do? I'm going to knit. I'll have to do the other things because if I don't mow, I get yelled at by my neighbors. I don't actually get yelled at by my neighbors. My next door neighbor comes to the edge of his yard and glowers at me. And that's if my grass is like any taller than about that. I cut it at ½ an inch so he doesn't glower. He mows his yard 5 times a week. I kid you not. I'm not exaggerating. I am not telling tales out of school. This guy is very much into his mowing. So I want to talk about upcoming projects that I want to knit the remainder of this year. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is show you a project that I am putting off until I have these other projects done, because I really want to knit my queue. For years, I have used my queue as a dumping ground for every pattern I ever purchased that I just want to knit someday. Since then, I've been saving it in bundles instead and using my queue for the things I plan to knit in a calendar year. So I set this queue up, and I've added to it and I've subtracted from it, but I set this queue up in January, and I've been steadily knitting on the queue all year long. And so far, everything is, I have marble in front of me. I have no wood. I have no wood at all. You know what? I do actually have wood. Knock wood. So far, I've been coming along like now I'm counting just one more row. My yarn store lady makes these. So I've got 21 things listed. And that's 10 sweaters, which means it's July, December. It's 5 months. That means 2 sweaters a month. That's obviously not going to happen this year. I can do about a sweater and a half a month if I'm knitting on something else. The accessories are absolutely within my grasp, even if I'm knitting on the sweaters. They're absolutely within my grasp. So I am reaching a bit with the sweaters, and I haven't decided what the most important sweater is to me to knit. As soon as I figure that out, I'll let you know. But right now, I'm just, going to knit the queue, knit the sweaters I can. The most important to me for me to knit are the sweaters I'm going to take on my birthday trip in December. So before we do that, I do want to show you this. This is my I talked the other day about making a hat out of this in my podcast. I am going to save this until January. When everything else is done, I will cast on a it's the fingering weight beanie. It's the sockhead hat. So, and I don't remember who makes the sockhead hat, but it's a free pattern on Ravelry. And I will put up all the information. All of the information will be available in the More bar. And yes, my Nitpicky and Hooked, who I also link, they do sell these cute little bags that I can hook right onto my purse, and then I can walk and knit socks at the same time. It works like a dream. I just feed the yarn through. Let me just get a little yarn here. I feed the yarn. One sock's fed through this side, one sock's fed through this side. And then if things get twisted and confungled, I can just open it up and switch it around. They're brilliant for that. She does not pay me to say this. I just love these. I just love them. I 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 love them. So this will not be going on my needles until everything else, all the other accessories are done. And usually what I like to do is have one serious accessory, two serious accessories, and one serious sweater on the needles. And what I mean by serious accessories, serious sweaters. There are a lot of projects that I sort of just go along and do. Like there's a little infinity scarf that I'm working on right now that has no time, no date, no plan, just knit it until I decide that it's done and it's good knitting. And I really work on it when I'm doing something that I just want something in my hands and I'm concentrating on something else. I'm taking a class, for example. I take a lot of Skillshare classes and things like that. I want to go back to college this winter. When I go back to college, I'll be taking my knitting along if I am permitted to do so, which I think I am. I seem to remember that they allow that locally. Because I want to take a couple classes. I want to learn to speak fluent French. I speak really crappy French. I can read it, I can understand it, and I want to speak it better. That's my thing. All right. So let's start off with what's not in my queue and should be. And it's my Holmes wrap by Michelle Wong. I really want that wrap. I know that is a virtually monogamous knit. And I know that I am going to have to sit there and really concentrate on it because it's cabled. It's beautiful. I have the yarn for it. I have some undyed Cascade 220 that I got from Dharma Trading years ago. I have like 6 skeins of it, which is more than enough for my Holmes wrap. I want it done in non-superwash yarn. I want it done in something that's I know will dye up pretty, and I know this will. I don't know what color I am going to dye it. I am very much thinking about dyeing it sort of a the color that Michelle Wong in her, and I'm popping all the pictures on the screen. In her little example, it's a huge wrap. In her example, it is a mustardy gold, almost tobacco color. And I'm thinking if I layered Dharma's tobacco leaf dye with some golden yellow from just golden yellow from Prochem. It's also monarch orange from a lot of dyes are the same across, the pure dyes are the same across the board. And then putting a little Aztec gold on top, which is a non-pure dye from Jacquard. So layered my companies up. I think that would give me that sort of, and then a layer of just a quick glaze of black, just to deepen those colors down. I think that would be really, really pretty. Something I dyed for myself. And I would really enjoy having that wrap in that color, even though it's not particularly my color. And that's the reason I'm hesitant to dye. That's the reason it goes on into my queue and comes out of my queue. It goes into my queue, it comes out of my queue. One, I've got to concentrate on it. I know I'll have to. In fact, Casting on the Holmes wrap might be a really good idea when I cast on my sockhead hat in January. I think that would be really good. The goal, I guess, should be to have everything else done except the sweaters I don't want to knit right now. And there are a couple that I'm getting waffly about. The problem is I have all the yarn dyed up, but I know I have enough of the yarn that I can switch sweaters, unless it's like something really huge, like a coat or something, which I would not knit in the first place. So let's start out talking about accessories. So that's why the Holmes wrap is not in there, but yet is on my mind. It's right here. Since I'm knitting my sweater out of my Aptite, this is my Aptite colorway. It's kind of a rock. I already have 2 skeins I dyed. This is wool and silk, which I do not sell. I do not sell this yarn base. I think it's a bit spendy right now, although the economy is looking up, so yay. The numbers are really good this week. Yay. So my cat had something to say. She just said it. I don't know if you heard it. So the first thing I'm going to knit when I get done with my twists and turns is I'm going to take a palette cleanser and knit either Imagine When by Joji Locatelli. That would be this colorway, this Aptite colorway, in the wool and silk. My only issue with wool and silk is I don't really enjoy knitting with it because the silk is so, there's no bounce to that ounce. It's a firmer, it's tighter. It doesn't have that give. The wool helps. The wool helps quite a bit. 50% wool helps a lot, but it's not quite as giving. It's not quite the giving tree the wool is. So I like it. I love the way it looks in the end. I love the way it looks knit up. I think this is going to be beautiful in Imagine When by Joji Locatelli. I'm just not sure if this is the palette cleanser after twists and turns I need as much as Jody by Joji Locatelli. Jody is and they are both garter stitch shawls. So either one of them would be a good palette cleanser. My only thing about this is I am just now finishing a sweater in this colorway, and I'm going to be sick to death of it. And yes, I plan to wear this with my ranunculus because matchy is a thing with me, and black pants or black skirt. So I don't know if I'm going to knit this next or if I'm going to go for Jody. And what I have for Jody is I was dyeing colorways that glow in the dark, and I dyed some on DK, and Jody is knit in DK. Jody is knit on US size 7 needles, 660 yards of DK yarn in garter stitch. And I just think this would be pretty, and it will glow in the dark. I thought this would be really fun. You know, I like to go roller skating, right? This would be really fair to like wrap around, use as a scarf for the roller rink when I walk in, because there's black lights everywhere and it will fluoresce. It sounds fun. It's also pretty. The colors are pretty together. And I don't know, because Jody uses 3 colors and they're not really faded together. I haven't read the entire pattern yet. So if they do fade together, I apologize. I'm looking, there may be a little fading. Hold up, maybe I'm lying to you. Does not appear to be any fudden. A little bit. There's a little bit of fading. There's a little bit of fading. I was wrong. Okay, yay. So I don't know whether to go pink at the top, then the aquamarine, then the blue, or this way, or this way, or this way. I am confused. I want all 3 of these in that shawl. Yes, it's going to be super colorful, but there's nothing wrong with the super colorful warm DK weight shawl now, is there? There's not. No. So this is going to be Jody. I like it because it's a garter stitch, it's an easy knit, and yet it's pretty. And it looks incredibly warm. It just looks deliciously, wonderfully, fantastically warm. So that is it for the shawls. I only have 2 more shawls I want in it this year. Now, I'm sure that Stephen West's mystery make-along MCAL is something I'll be very interested in, and Magpie and the Squirrel about, but I can't this year because I've learned that I love all of Stephen's patterns, but I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm looking at something like that for months and going, I didn't look at it every day. I'd pull it out once a month or so because I was freaked out about the purling through the back loop. That is the easiest freaking row. Big whiny baby. I was a big whiny baby. Okay. Next we have and there's going to be a little matchy going on here. I am going to make a Night Blooms hat, which is color work. So this hat is going to be wavy gravy. I don't know. I've never done color work before. I've done mosaic knitting. That is not the same thing as color work. It is much easier than color work. This is actual color work. The Night Blooms hats by Espace Tricot. It is a free pattern available on Ravelry. It uses silk and mohair and a worsted weight yarn. But this is DK, and I'm going to have to futz with the pattern. Or am I? Bag that I just said. Bag everything I just said. I'm not going to put the fuzzy with it. What I'm going to do is I have just ordered 2 bags of worsted weight yarn to make my gifts out of this year and to make a couple sweaters out of. I'll just dye it up. I'll just dye it up for the hat. And then I'll use this for something else. Matching mittens. Matching mittens. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is where my head is at. Okay, so this is the Night Blooms hat. All right, so it's supposed to be done in worsted. I just saw that for the first time. Oh, silk and mohair, DK, and a worsted. No, silk and mohair DK makes worsted. Let me read this pattern again. This is what you get when you're moving. Okay, so it says it uses. Okay, it says 2 different things. Says worsted. It definitely says worsted. So I will be doing it on worsted weight yarn. I don't want to mess around with that. Bag this idea. Mittens. I will, not this year, next year, make some kind of matching mittens for the hat. Because, and I know this one's right, because this is done in lace and fingering, which makes a sport weight or a light DK. This is the Fancy Zebra Cowl, also by Espace Tricot. I liked the colors it was in. Undyed. Is this undyed? Yes. Undyed, cast iron, and honey tree. See? Now you see. No, hang on. Now you see where I'm getting the matching mitts idea from? If I do this in worsted, if I dye it up in worsted, and that's no big thing to dye in worsted. That's I can do it one skein at a time on each of those. And then this is the cowl, and then I have matching mittens. I like this idea. Maybe I'll do something easy with the mittens, like just make a simple pair of mittens, 1 in 1 color, 2. I'm thinking, you can see my brain whirring. Maybe I'll design a pair of mittens. Maybe I'll do that with a Latvian braid. Maybe I'll do that. Thinking, or just striped ones. I don't know. But the hat's not striped, and that's a little casual. The hat's floral. as you can see here. Espostrico writes, oh, for heaven's sakes, I just lost my page. Espostrico writes really clearly written, nice patterns. Now, the two ladies that owned it sold it to two of their employees. It's a store in Montreal, but they have the most wonderful free patterns available on Ravelry. And can't remember her name. The lady who designed with the short hair, I can't remember her name. The things that she designed, she also has available on her website. I will link that all in the more and more bar. I don't know why I can't remember her name to save my freaking life right now. Okay, onward and outward. Next, we come to the Musselburgh hat, and I have two Musselburgh hats in mind. I'm going to knit one of them for myself. The other one is a gift. And this is a problem because I don't think I can get this Musselburgh hat, both of them knit this year. I'm thinking that one of the, although it's really good, like I really don't go to the theater that much. I don't, it's a tough one. Anyway, the first one is going to be in my Wild Roses colorway. I want a pink hat. I want a pink hat because I do. I have no reason to want a pink hat other than I want one. All of my jackets are gray or beige or something, but I want a pink hat. I just think it'd be really fun to have a pink hat. But I also have this yarn, Dream in Color Smooshy with Cashmere in the color way. I've had this for years. Years, I say. Rosy. And this was kind of screaming Musselburgh hat to me. But then that's so much alike. But then I thought, what if I used a skein of my cranberry with it, and it would sort of, when you marl these together, it would have the effect of, you'd lose a lot of the oranges would just appear as lighter reds. Not as, I don't know if you see there's oranges in here and salmons, but it would be more even. But then I don't know if I'm losing the beauty of this skein. It's a beautiful skein, but then I kind of like them together. I don't know. Oh, and let me show you a trick. It is very easy when you get a hank of this and you unclip it and you put it up to be made into a cake that you break it at the beginning. It happens all the time. It happens to me all the time. I have an automatic ball winder. It happens to me more than I care to admit. When you get ready to skein up your mohair, go through and tease it. I don't mean, oh, look at you. You're mohair. You're fuzzy. I don't like you against my skin. Fuzzy mohair. I don't mean that kind of teasing. I mean just loosely sort of pull it apart. The stuff sticks like glue to itself because of the fuzzies. And never put it in the dryer. Never put mohair in the dryer. Don't put it in the washer. Just don't. It's a fuzzy disaster. It's like it velcros to itself and then it ruins whatever it has. I didn't do it myself. I saw somebody else do it. Fair warning. So I don't know. Then if I do this, it's not really a Musselburgh hat. Then it's going to be a different kind of a hat because it'll be like a light sport weight. I don't know. I have time. I don't have to think about this until 2024. So in 2023, I'll be making this in Musselburgh hat by Isolde Teague. And it's neat because the hat flips inside itself and it's super duper warm. And because I'm a runner and I go running in the mornings, and I like to go running when it's cold in the mornings, and I don't like cold at all. I don't like heat either. I'm a very middle of the road temperature girl, between 60 and 78. Right in there, I'm a happy person. Other than that, I'm too hot or I'm too cold. But I think this would be a really nice muscle bro hat because it would be warm to go running in, and it's got some sparkle to it. And I think I should be a sparkly runner. I do. I think I should run sparkly. I think sparkling while you run is a joyous thing because, oh, sometimes I just don't like running. Sometimes I get out there and I'm like, you have to do this 5 times a week for the rest of your life. And I'm thinking about that and not about the moment that I'm in, which is something that I need to learn to change, because there is no point in whining about something that you have to do the rest of your life. It's like getting in the shower and saying, but I have to shower every day for the rest of my life. Yes, I do. Virtually every day of the rest of my life. I've missed a handful of days in my existence. It's not a chore. It's an enjoyable moment. Next, I'm going to pull out something that is not my yarn. Again, 2 in a row. Oh my, well, the cranberry was in there, but we're not going to count that. This is shepherd's wool from Stonehenge Fiber Mill. This is in their 250 yards worsted weight in their granite colorway. It was $14. I don't remember when I bought it. It was not recently. Actually, they're not far from where I'm going to be around my birthday. I wonder if I could do an interview with them and put them on the podcast and show the mill. I'll have to write them and ask. I'm gonna have to write them. I wonder if if they'd do that. They have a variety of just really nice, solid, and heathered wool that is, I believe it's sourced in Michigan. It's made in Michigan. It's Michigan, and it's warm, and it makes the best quadri hat. I had a quadri hat before in the pearl color of this. The problem is I made a size medium, and with my tiny little head, I do this and it does this. And I can't see it without eye holes, which I'm not cutting into my hat. So I'm going to give that one away as a gift and knit myself one in a small size on this. I started to knit it out of Brooklyn tweed, and there's something about, I yank my yarn so hard. There's something about the way it's spun, and for the life of me, I can't remember which one's worsted and which one's woolen. It's the one that's not like this. And I yank on my yarn and I rip it and I rip it and I rip it and I rip it and I rip it. And I don't like cabling with it. And it's not personal. The yarn is beautiful, tweedy, delicious yarn that I just can't work with it. It's just me. And I could try to soften everything down, but then I find my gauge gets way off. So I love Jared Flood's patterns, and I will continue to buy them quite a bit, even if I never, ever knit one, because I don't think I've ever knit a Jared Flood pattern. I don't think I have. I have them. They're almost all sweaters, and I just started knitting sweaters this year. There you go. There's my explanation, and I'm sticking to that explanation. Okay. The next thing is by Veronica Lindberg, and I'm pronouncing that terribly. She is from Sweden. She lives in Finland. She wrote a wonderful book called Knit This, which I'm going to review in the next couple of weeks. She did it's just a beautiful, she's a photographer and a knitwear designer, and oh my goodness, she knit her own wedding dress in 6 weeks. She knit her freaking wedding dress. It made the national news. From Finland, she knit her wedding dress. I saw it on the news here. She knit her dress. I mean, I saw it on her blog or her podcast first, or her vlog. And then I saw news stories about it. And I'm still seeing news stories about it. The woman is a knitting machine. She decided a couple of things that I really, really want. One is her Sprinkle Fi mittens. Her Sprinkle Fi mittens are done on a DK weight yarn. They're done with 3 colors. I have 4 here. I know I'm going to use the vanilla cream for sure. This will be my base color, which means my mittens will always look dirty. You have to throw snowballs, and sometimes there's dirt. Okay? Okay. And then I have these 3 colors. I know I'm going to use the pink. I know I'm going to use this sort of unusual speckled pink that I was playing with earlier this year. Went in a completely different direction. But I have this. And then it's Heliotrope or Astonish. Heliotrope or Astonish for the 3rd color. I'm kind of leaning Heliotrope. I mean, Astonish is pretty. It's beautiful periwinkle color, but it's an old colorway. It's not one that I dye anymore, and it doesn't have that pizzazz. I know what I'm going to do with it now, so I'm going to go with these 2 colors for Sprinkle Fly Knits. Now, what you don't see, and what is out there and what you're not seeing right now, is I designed a hat earlier this year, which I don't have with me, called Beach Waves. And I have to knit 2 Beach Waves hats for display and because I'm releasing the pattern. It'll be a free pattern on Ravelry at the end of August. So as soon as I get done knitting the sweater and the shawl, and before I put the Jody shawl on, I have to quickly knit up 2 Beach Waves hats. And I think this is my crystal pink colorway. I think I'm going to knit it in this. And then one in this. Because I have big pom-poms in pink and blue. So I can knit one of each. And that will be pretty. And this is not a current colorway, but this will be one I have just for photographs and stuff, just to show things. This will be the main one that I put out there. You can also do it in fingering weight and lace, which I have also done. So I will have to knit that hat up. It doesn't take very long, just a couple days. It's fairly easy. It's lacy. It's pretty. It's a nice hat. I like it. It's free. It'll be great. So then I have 3 skeins left for my. Oh, one of the things you're seeing on here is a fox doll. Because the link to my Ravelry queue will be in there. Fox dolls for my son JJ, who's home right now, but he can't hear me. He doesn't watch the podcast, and he could care less about my Ravelry queue. He loves foxes, and this is a very sort of mature amigurumi fox doll that can wear pants or no pants and a little shirt. So I have all the yarn put aside for that, but I have to do that when he's not looking, and that will happen when he moves out. We're just waiting for the phone call still. Gerald is moving to an independent living facility because Gerald and her are both on the autism spectrum, and Gerald is going to learn to live independently, and I think will be a great success at that, since he can cook and do all the things now. This is my romantic mitts, which will match my Beach Waves hat. You see the matchy. Look at all the pink hats I'm going to make this year. Pink mittens. This will also match my muscle burrow hat in the Wild Roses. I think gray and pink look really good together, and my main jacket for the winter is gray. And last but not least, we have my Lady Verity mitts, they're not my Lady Verity mitts. Oh, I'm sorry. The Fox doll is by Claire Garland. The Romantic mitts are by Erica Kempf Broughton. And my Lady Verity mitts are by Leah Goldstein. And they have cute little bows, and that's what this is for. All this pink. But I also could go in this direction because I have both of these. I could do either or the other. It doesn't matter. I just want mitts with little bows on them. And I have some Lion brand cream colored cashmere sport weight yarn, which is beautiful. And I love it, but it was so pricey and it's so soft that I'm going to knit these mitts in something else first and then knit it in the white. I can't believe I'm knitting myself literally, not just cream, not vanilla cream, white mitts. It's going to be an interesting experience. So that is all of the accessories I plan to knit in the next year. Now we come down to these sweaters. And there are 10 of them. There are 9 of them. 2, 3, 4. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, there are 10. There are 10 of them. I don't know where I got the 9 from. It can't be 10 of them. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, there are 10 of them. All right, I can't knit 10 sweaters in August, September, October, November, December in 5 months. I can't. It's not going to happen. So I'm just going to talk about the highlights. By the way, the t-shirt I'm making this out of has been backburner until next summer. I don't need another silk mix t-shirt right now. Yay, that was a hard decision to make. Okay, so a couple of these I have dyed up and a couple of these I do not have dyed up because they require worsted weight yarn, which I do not normally sell. I had an unexpected yarn sale this month, which was really nice. And instead of being really, really smart and doing something like putting it in the bank, you know, for a rainy day, I decided to up my fall wardrobe and order myself a couple of bags of worsted weight yarn so I could knit myself a couple of worsted weight sweaters. It's less expensive than buying a really good quality sweater or even buying yarn from somebody else. So there's that. Okay. So the first one I want to knit, and it's literally the first sweater I want to knit, is the Iceberg sweater by Hintern Stein. It's available in English and German. It uses size 6 needles DK, and it is very size inclusive. It goes up to a 4XL, which is a 60-inch bust. I think that's a good place. It's got the coolest detail right here in the neck. It's not like right here. It's a little bit wide open. And the minute I saw it, I wanted it in Silver Sage. I think that this particular sweater would look really gorgeous in my Silver Sage colorway. So I dyed up the Silver Sage. I didn't even think about it. I saw the sweater, bought the pattern, went out to the dye studio. It was a Sunday. I didn't have any other dyeing going on. Wetted out the yarn and dyed the yarn up in like 2 hours. I was done. I wanted this sweater so freaking stinking bad. So it is the absolute next sweater on my needles. It would be on my needles now if it wasn't so hot. Yes, I know a ranunculus in wool is not exactly lightweight, easy to knit sweater, but ranunculus does have a lot of air holes at the top and is a very loose weave, so it doesn't feel as hot as this is going to feel knit on size 6 needles. So I can't wait. I will cast this on, and talking about hot, I'm going to cast it on the first part of August. The goal is to have this done by the end of August and have another sweater on the go. I would ideally like to knit, and if I do the weekends, except a few times I'm going out of town doing other things, ideally, I would like to knit a sweater and a half a month. Realistically, we'll see. I will keep you apprised of that rather ridiculous goal. The next sweater is the Moonset Pullover by Ozetta Haley Smedley. It comes up to a 5X. It is in English en français. I can say en français, but I can't speak French properly. By Ozetta Knitwear. And she suggests Cardiff Cashmere Classic. Instead, I am using my just regular DK. Yeah, this is an MCN. Regular DK in my Corey colorway. This is my favorite covered in cat hair colorway to knit with. It's a pain to dye. I've said it before. It's 11 steps to dye, and every step has a twist, and your hands are in hot water, but it's absolutely worth it. I just think it's really, really pretty. I've tried doing it with less steps. It doesn't look the same. So it's got yellow specks and the red and the blue, and it's got a green cast and a gray cast. I just love this colorway. So that will be my Moonset pullover. I like the V-neck. I love the balloon sleeves. I think those are super, super cute. I think that this is a sweater that I will, especially in this color, these two sweaters are going to be in these two colorways will be so classic. I would really like to get this on the needles no later than the 15th of August, but I can't get this on the needles until I've got my hats well underway and until I've knit half of this. And when I say I've knit half a sweater, cast off for the body, that's half a sweater to me. It's actually 3/4, but I tell myself it's half. That way the arms aren't so disappointingly long. So when I cast off a body, I can cast on a new sweater. That's kind of my thing. My next two sweaters are by Petite Knit. The first one is the No Frills sweater, and I am a little nervous about this sweater. And I'll tell you why. I'm not a huge fan of mohair next to my skin on my back. It's very itchy to me. So this is MCN, Merino Cashmere Nylon, and this is the mohair silk, which is 70%, 76% mohair. Yes, the rest is silk, yes. So I'm nervous to knit this. So what I'm going to do when I do knit this is I'm going to get some nylon slip material, fairly thin, and I'm going to make myself a little very thin light t-shirt to go under it. Or I could just go to Kohl's and buy some Cuddle Duds. I mean, I'll wear them to death. And I probably can get them in beige. I think I'm going to do that. This is my Singing Sand colorway, by the way. But I'm a little on the fence about this one because of the mohair. I think that I will do this sweater and my Love Note pullover last. This seems like the mohair seems like a really good December kind of a knit. January, February, even end of November kind of a knit. Although I would like to take this on my trip in December. Thoughts. Yes, I plan to pack what I'm going to pack this many months out. When you have to knit the clothes you're going to wear, you have to think about that. Okay. The next one is also by Petite Knit, is the Oslo sweater, and she does it in lace and DK. I am just going to do it in DK. Here, hang on. The Oslo sweater goes to 3XL. It's not the most size inclusive of all her patterns, unfortunately. It uses US 7, 2.5, and size 4 needles. It is lace plus DK, but lace plus DK equals DK. The lace is not enough to really. Do I need a no frill sweater and a Oslo sweater right now? Or could I Use the by the way, the singing sand comes out much differently on the silk than it does on the MCN. Or could I stick these two together and just do the Oslo sweater? You know what? That's what I'm going to do. Okay, 9 sweaters. We're getting there. We're getting there. I've actually cut one sweater out. I have a sweater's quantity of this yarn, but I only have one skein in the house. So I only have to deal with this one skein. Ah! I think this is a plan. Okay, I'm much more excited about knitting this now. Much more excited. Okay. All right. The next one I do not have dyed up yet. It is the Mycroft sweater by Isabel Kramer. It does call for, it's in English en français. It comes up to an extra, extra large. It's not incredibly size inclusive, but you know, it's more size inclusive than some. And I've had this pattern for a long time. This calls for worsted, and so I am going to knit it with oar carrier. The only example I have of oar carrier really handy right now is the sock that I knit. I'm going to knit it on this yarn and worsted weight. I think that would be a really pretty sweater. I must own this sweater. Yes, I'll have matching socks. Oh well. But I love this colorway, and I want something in my wardrobe in that colorway. I like orange. I like burnt orange. I think that's a really neat and exciting color, and it's got little bits of turquoise in it. So it's just one of my absolute favorites. All right, more sweaters. This next sweater is actually, you know what? I'm going to make an executive decision about one of these sweaters right now and take it out. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Well, I'll tell you why right now. I want the sweater. I don't want it in the colors I dyed for it. That's the truth. All right. So the next one is going to be the Keep It Warm sweater by Yeon Hwa Lee. And I am probably pronouncing that terribly. This is not a size inclusive sweater. This is not a size inclusive sweater by any stretch of the imagination. I purchased this pattern because I wanted this sweater, and it was before size inclusivity was pointed out to be, I knew it was a problem before because I used to weigh a lot of weight. A lot. And there are a lot of things, and I could not have knit this sweater. Which really bums me out, but I want the sweater. It's called Keep It Warm. It is beautiful cables and lace. It is the most advanced sweater on my list. It is going to be the one that is most difficult to knit. It is knit with lace and fingering held double to equal DK, which doesn't quite equal DK. It's really closer to a sport weight, to be honest, in crystal pink. So I dyed up singles because I like the way singles look. I love the way they kind of glow. Singles do kind of glow. And then I dyed up the mohair. And again, we're going to have the mohairiness issue of it all. But I have a pink turtleneck. And it's worth it for this. I will suffer for this sweater. I will suffer for this sweater. This in the winter, my skin gets really light. It's pretty light now. I'm not been outside much, but it's my dream sweater, and it's the last sweater I will knit out of this group. Except it isn't, because I really want to knit it for I was going to say DC because I was going to DC. Now I'm going to Traverse City. I really want it for Traverse City for wine tasting one day. So I guess this one's going on the needles in October, fuzziness and all. I really, really, really love this colors, and I love the single with the lace. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful, and I want it, and I want it now. I want it in my wardrobe. I don't want to think about it, and I don't want to worry about mistakes, but these things happen. It's knit on size 6 and 7 needles. Perfect. Probably because of the cabling. It has cables. It has details that run down the arm as well as the front. And I'm not sure about the back of the sweater. I think it may just be plain. She also has a short sleeve version, which I will not be making. 3 more sweater. 3 more sweaters in my list. The next one is this is an example. It's the Fiola. I'm sorry, not an example. It's the Fiola by Isabel Kramer. It has lace detail at the top and on the sleeves, down both sleeves actually. It's in English and French again. It uses size 4 and 5, and it uses 2 skeins of lace held together. Not happening in my world. I'm using DK. I will adjust the size accordingly. I will just, I'm a tight knitter anyway. I can probably just do it on the size needles it calls for and be fine, or go with 5s and 6s and go a size down or something. I'll figure it out. It doesn't have the sizes listed in here. Oh, 1 to 9. There are 9 sizes available in this sweater. I think it's definitely what I would call size inclusive. And this is Papyrus. 2 more. This is the sweater that I have to die for too. This is my midnight colorway, and I am knitting myself a Dustlin sweater by Stephen West. I like that sweater. There is so much going on the whole sweater. The whole sweater has textured stitches. I can't imagine for one single second I'll be bored. It comes in 9 sizes. It is done around 1 piece, ribbed, seamless, worsted weight yarn. This is not worsted weight yarn, so I will be dyeing the worsted weight when it comes in. It is it really talks about the yardage, the ease. I mean, this page, gosh, his pages are good. Uses size 6 and 7 needles. And the sleeves are very long. He's got one sleeve pulled way past the ends of his fingers, which is just perfect for me. I love that. It's a beautiful, 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 beautiful sweater. It really is, with some gorgeous projects in it. And this, I just thought it would look really nice in the midnight. There we go, in the midnight. I mean, it's such a dark, dark midnight bluey purple. It's just, I love it. And the last one is one of the on the fence ones, and it's on the fence because, again, of the mohair. I'm not a huge fan of the feel of mohair, but I have all this mohair, which I have to use. The Love Notes Pullover by Tin Can Knits is one of the prettiest sweaters, although I will make it longer because of my weird short waist. It makes everything look short. It has 3/4 sleeves. And this, obviously the sleeves can be made longer. This is my mustard colorway. I have enough skeins to do a love note or another ranunculus, and I don't think I need 6 ranunculi. I do think I need a love note. It's knit on size 7 and 10 needles, so it's going to have a similar drape feel, weight, everything to a ranunculus, but it looks completely different, and it's really beautiful sweater. So I really like this sweater. I really like this sweater. I keep looking at this mohair. It's gonna itch. And maybe if I wash it a few times and put it in with the with the wool wash and then put a softener in with it at the end. I have a professional softener. That might just be enough to make it work. And it never itches me unless I'm sweaty. If I'm at all sweaty, even the tiniest little bit, it's itchy. So that's everything I plan to knit for the remainder of 2022 and obviously into the beginning of 2023, because there's no way, even after taking off a couple of these sweaters and taking off a couple of these projects, I'm going to get all 18 of them done before the end of the year. Although, I mean, if I put my pedal to the metal, but then again, that feels more like obligation knitting, where I'm forced to be knitting and it's not fun anymore. So I want to knit my queue, but I want to have fun knitting my queue. And that's why what's in the queue is not necessarily in the order I'm going to knit it. It's what's next. Now, I know what's next sweater-wise. It's absolutely, positively, 100% the iceberg sweater with the silver sage. Absolutely next. And those two hats. But first I have to finish my ranunculus and my twists and turns. So stay tuned to find out how that goes. Remember to leave a comment for the comment contest and to take care of you, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else, and no one can take care of you better than you can. Do something fun today. Thank you.